Can you describe to me your dream garden space?
Mm, yes, I can.
Okay.
Hey, Amanda.
How are you? Are you excited?
I'm very excited. Very, very excited.
Right, we have been discussing your design and we are really excited to get started. Before we jump in though, I just want to ask you a couple of questions about you and your space.
Okay.
All right, so why did you originally start Griffin Gardens?
So I had recently moved back home, relocated from New York, but it was really temporarily. I was taking a sabbatical from my job in New York, and I was making my base in Detroit. So I moved in with my sister, who happens to live in the house that we grew up in. And adjacent to the house that we grew up in, my dad purchased a side lot through the DBLA.
Oh, wow.
And actually, he had purchased two, one in the back of the house and one on the side. And they had just been taking care of it throughout the summer, just cutting the grass. But it just kind of lay there, just grass. I would just look at it. I was like, what are we going to do with this land? Like,
Yeah.
we got it, but then what do you do? Because if you don't do anything, it falls prey to just anything, right? Trash builds up, debris, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So what can we do? My first idea was maybe I could build a house there.
Okay.
Maybe that's not going to work. Let me just keep my thoughts going. And then I was like, oh, it'd be nice if we do a garden here. And then I didn't have any idea like how big it was going to be. It was like, we could do a garden here. And then I found out about Keep Growing Detroit.
Yes.
I was like, okay. I'm like, whoa, this is amazing. The membership was $30. I was like, okay, you get all this. And they kind of really helped me with just getting the plants and the seeds itself, because I had experience growing indoor plants, but nothing like outside.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, I know I have the membership. I'm gonna get the seeds and plants soon.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember reading somebody's post. They were like, you should draw out. How do you envision the garden to look?
Yes.
So I kind of just drew out the the blueprint. I still have the blueprint of the original idea.
Yeah.
And just went from there. And April 20th, I don't know. I didn't choose that date. It didn't, people were like, well, that's 420. I was like, well, I didn't actually choose that date based off of that. But it was the date I broke ground. My dad had a tiller and I tilled around and I just kind of measured things out, and just little by little. And I was like, okay, well, I'm growing stuff. I can give stuff to the community. People come by, give it to them, educate people on what I'm growing. I don't know much, but I'm learning. So as I learn, I tell people and they come, and then things start to grow and everything started to become lush. And I was like, we should do yoga here.
Yes.
How dope would that be? Right? It's like people can't go nowhere, right? People are yearning to do exercise. I was like, yoga would be so perfect. We did yoga there. Just wanting to bring some beauty to the neighborhood. At the end of the day, right? Bring beauty and education of as far as food that they can eat.
Yes.
And so that was how I got started.
That's beautiful. That really is, because that's like that. I love that. I love that. I feel like a lot of people started something this year that ended up being way more meaningful than they expected it to be. And that's like, look at what you were able to do. So you mentioned that you use the space for yoga and you give the community produce as it comes in. So do you use the space for anything else, or do you hope to use the space for anything in the future?
Yes, I have a lot of different ideas. So the way I have the garden at this point kind of set up is it's three main sections. So it's the garden section, like where I'm growing stuff, flowers are there, and then the middle section is the lawn area. So that's typically that's where the yoga was at.
Okay.
But that could be an area people, if they want to come and just lay on the grass and pick it up. That's not that big, but it's like there is possibility there. And it's the back part that this year, my goal is to kind of lay gravel back there. So that scene area.
Well, I saw in the aerial view, you had a space that was there was a space that in the back that had more shade and things like that. So that's nice. You could, basically use it for like a neighborhood therapeutic space. You could do a lot of things here.
A lot of things, right? Like, so for Halloween, we did because a lot of kids obviously were told that they, shouldn't obviously go door to door. And so we threw a like a Halloween event there. So we got a lot of people to donate candy, and
Yeah,
we had like different sections set up. And so this
that's
is
perfect.
if people were going to come, I reached out to people I knew. I'm like, listen, business owners, if you have something you want to sell, this could be like a pop-up shop, because that's what I also envision, like a farmer's market pop-up space within the community. You always hear about it like downtown or places kind of like on the outskirts.
Yeah, no, we got you.
How just walk down a street and there is a farmer's market or a space that you could just
there.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember one of my neighbors was like, I'm about to make dinner. You got some tomatoes? Yes, of course I got tomatoes. Come and get some tomatoes. Like, that felt really good that they were able to be that close in proximity to be able to get what they needed.
Yes.
So, yeah.
That's amazing. Honestly, those are the kinds of things that we really want to see. Like, one thing that I really want to convey on our website is that we have the ability to do that. And so, if it's like community owned farmers markets or community owned pop-up spaces. But okay, so we'll move into part 2 then.
Okay.
All right. So this is really just about the design of the space. So right now I saw on the photos that you sent that you already have like rocks and mulch and you have walkways and things built. So we don't technically need to come in and really rearrange any of that. We just are putting the beds in the designated areas, right? Okay, perfect.
Like I envision when you walk in, you don't even know where you're at, because
Secret garden
is so lush. Everything is just tall and green, and you see all these different pops of colors and butterflies and hummingbirds and crickets and all kind of stuff just flourishing, where it's like when you walk in, you're just enveloped by just this beauty that we should be seeing more of, right? In our wherever we live.
Yeah. So thank you for meeting with me. We're super excited to get started on your project, and we will touch base with you soon.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Absolutely. Bye.
Bye.
Oh.
The Griffin Gardens build was incredibly important to us because it really highlighted the importance of investing and reinvesting in your community. To further understand this concept, we sat down with local community activist Kim Sherobbi.
Or is it something that's like a meaningful collaboration with the people that are your home, that are where you live? And so we really have to shift that mindset from every man for himself to just centering the idea that every individual in the community holds value and that we can solve our problems together. So, leading into my next question, as we do shift the narrative from supreme independence to being connected in one's community, how do you believe that we can go about meaningful reinvestment without upholding or recreating the same systems that we see now?
Mm-hmm. So the statements you just made, you were really speaking my language.
Okay.
So you're like, we're like right there together, right?
Okay,
I mean, so you're speaking my language. And so, as you said, doing things together, making it meaningful. And what is meaningful? It depends on who's around you. Getting to know your neighbors, finding out what they want, making sure the actions that are taken is beneficial to all. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I've been focusing on lately, and actually have been encouraging people to do, is do what I call inner work.
Okay.
And so inner work is, by my definition, the process of having integrity within yourself while practicing principles and values of accountability, love, generosity, empathy, like compassion within society.
Hi everyone, I'm Marilyn Griffin of Griffin Gardens, and I'm so excited to be working with Fennigan Farms for this 2021 growing season. I am extremely, yes, neighborhood loud. Get that in.
The Griffin Gardens build was our largest one to date. It consisted of 8 garden beds, each of them sitting at 8 foot by 4 foot and 12 inches deep. We decided on a fire stain finish for these boards because it not only looked great, but it also allowed the boards to become more resistant to mold and mildew.
I'm still picturing myself like, is this a dream? I can't thank you all enough for this. This just has completely blessed my garden, my life, because I was going to have to do this and I didn't know how to do this. So you guys have taken a huge burden off of me, and so thank you from the bottom of my heart for this. Come back anytime, come back next week, come back again, and yeah, thank you. Fennigan Farms, you rock.